I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is, you like toxic. It's true. You do. I've discovered this from working with clients for the past decade. People come to me with all kinds of vices, and I'm not just talking about straight up addictions, like drugs or gambling or pornography. I'm talking about things like overeating or procrastination or laziness. And I've come to understand that these vices continue to exist in people's lives in large part because they like these things. That might sound crazy, especially if you personally don't have an issue with one of those vices, though most likely you probably have some other one. Hell, it can even sound crazy to the people suffering from these vices. They say to me, Orion, I don't like this. I really don't. I want to change, but it's so hard to change. Well, that might be true. Building a habit is difficult. But what I like to remind these folks is that vice is a habit. And it was hard to build that vice to begin with, so they already know how to build a habit. Like, people have to work to acquire their vices in much the same way that they have to work to acquire their virtues. In fact, as I'll discuss later, vices and virtues are really two sides of the same coin. But I mean, think about it. No one takes their first drag of a cigarette and thinks, oh, now I'm in flavor country. No, it's friggin' terrible. The smoke burns your throat, you cough, your eyes water, and you think, how the hell do people enjoy this? I mean, the same thing can be true even of certain delicacies like oysters or foie gras. Like, a lot of things in life are acquired tastes. You have to work to develop the palate to appreciate them, which generally means you aren't too thrilled by the experience the first time you try them. But to develop that palate, you kind of have to work through the pain or disgust or discomfort of acquiring it. This is equally true for behavioral vices. Almost all these behaviors create distress that must be consistently overcome to acquire the habit. With overeating, you get to a point where you are physically stuffed to the point of discomfort. Like, how can that be pleasurable? With procrastination, you get to a point where you are so pressured that you're at the point of panicked frenzy. Like, is that really enjoyable for people? And so forth and so on. So we have to appreciate that there was likely a very strong but potentially unconscious commitment to acquiring that vice. And most likely the only way to get rid of it is to have a very strong and conscious commitment to executing its opposite virtue. My point here is that people with vices have already demonstrated that they have a very strong commitment to build a habit, which is why they have the vice to begin with. What's more, they also have demonstrated success in overcoming the initial pain and discomfort associated with building a habit, which again is why they have the vice under discussion. The only real difference here is the degree of awareness and the specific flavor of discomfort in question. Now, undoing a vice is really no different from changing a troublesome emotion. You starve it by intentionally executing the opposite action. With emotions, this is done by executing the behavior that is the polar opposite of the impulse contained in the emotion in question. Like, if rage makes you feel like aggressively approaching, the polar opposite would be gentle avoidance. Vices, on the other hand, are a bit more complex than simple emotions, but that just means that our opposite action must be equally complex. And those opposite actions always exist. Why? Because, as I stated previously, vices and virtues are two sides of the same coin. For instance, most people know about the 7 deadly sins: lust, gluttony, sloth, and so forth. However, not as many people know about the 7 lively virtues. They exist. These virtues are the behavioral opposites of their corresponding vices. And the way out of any one of those vices is to starve the vice by intentionally executing the complementary virtue. For instance, kindness counteracts envy. Patience counteracts wrath. Humility counteracts pride, and so forth and so on. Each of these pairs consists of opposite responses to the same internal stimulus. Ready to implement what you've learned here in your own life? Then you need the Captain's Quarters, my private community for individuals ready to put psych hacks to work. Participate in my live group consultation calls, where I apply the principles you've followed for years to your own unique circumstances in real time. Your problems, my solutions. Attend AMAs with notable guests. Access an unlisted archive of community content, receive discounts on individual consultations, and much, much more. So if you're ready to ascend to your captaincy, or you just want to hear all the stuff I can't say on YouTube, then the Captain's Quarters is for you. Hope to see you on board. Now, the idea that people like toxic is even more evident when it comes to relationships. I've talked to so many people about their toxic relationships, right? She was crazy, Orion. Every man I meet is an insufferable narcissist. Why can't I just meet someone who treats me well? I hate this. Well, you don't hate it that much. There are billions of people in the world. If you happen to find yourself over and over and over again with cheaters or addicts or narcissists or immature losers, my brother or sister in Christ, that is not an accident. On some level, you like that flavor of toxic. You do. You're like one of those truffle pigs that can sniff out trouble even when it's buried underground. And spoiler alert, when it comes to these relationship defects, they're typically hidden in plain sight. You like that flavor of toxic. And I'm telling you this because until you own that part of you, you're probably going to continue in the delusion that you are just the unlucky, perpetual victim of other people's malice, exploitation, or abuse. And that's probably not true. Relationships are rarely that black and white. Very likely, there is something in that kind of personality, in that kind of behavior, in that kind of relationship that you like. And until you admit that to yourself, you're probably going to remain powerless in the face of it. And it's probably going to keep recurring. So why do people like toxic? Well, in my experience, it appears that one of the most intolerable emotions that people are subject to experiencing is boredom. Boredom. And frankly, life can be pretty boring. In fact, I've come to the point where I can state with a great deal of conviction that most people would prefer chaos to boredom, would prefer drama to indifference, and would absolutely prefer pain to feeling nothing at all. That might sound crazy, but it's true. So what we have to understand is that a lot of these toxic behaviors, whether they're individual vices like procrastination or binge eating, or relational vices with their on-again, off-again cycles, or straight up addictions like drugs and alcohol, these behaviors, for all their pain and suffering, offer people the chance to escape from feeling bored, or even worse, nothing at all. And that's why people like them. They rescue them temporarily and often at great cost from a condition they feel to be even more intolerable in the moment. So what's to be done about this? There's this old therapeutic adage that in order to feel better, you have to feel better. Okay, what does that mean? It means that, paradoxically, one way to escape pain is to increase your sensitivity to it. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. What many people call boredom is really a diverse experience of many different, albeit muted, emotions. By increasing your sensitivity to those emotions, you'll gradually be able to sense these subtle fluctuations of experience, which will dispel the perception of boredom and indifference. And if there's no boredom, there's no need to escape that boredom by choosing toxic behaviors that, despite, or rather because of their pain, will allow you to feel something, anything. Learn to understand and process your emotions, and you won't have to escape them behaviorally. Remember, you've already overcome pain and discomfort in the cultivation of your vice. You can do the same in the cultivation of your virtue. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Come on, let me know in the comments below. Please send this episode to someone who you think might benefit from its message. I know you know a guy or a gal who could stand to hear this. The because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. Other value propositions, because I got a lot at this stage. I have a free weekly newsletter. I have the opportunity to book paid one-on-one consultations with me. I have my books, my bestseller on relationships, The Value of Others, and my novel about the final days of Vincent van Gogh, Starry Night. I have my agent, Orion AI, providing round-the-clock counsel whenever you need it. And finally, I have my private community, the Captain's Quarters. This is a good one, where I respond to your issues in real time in live group consultation calls. The links to everything are in the description below. Check them out if you are so inclined. There's a lot of value there that I can't put on YouTube. As always, I appreciate your support, and thank you for listening.